The decade of 1860s was one of the most turbulent in Russian history. Russia's ignominious defeat in the Crimean War had exposed the deficiencies of the autocracy. The accession of Alexander II to the throne in 1855 promised significant changes. His reign is known as the era of great reforms. Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment was first published in the literary journal The Russian Messenger in 12 monthly installments during 1866, in the middle of this turbulent decade. The novel reflects the social upheaval and the major changes in Russian society after centuries of serfdom. With growing migration to the cities, poverty became a constant hardship for new urban dwellers. There was an increase in violence as a result of difficult economic conditions. The murder rate rose, and the Russian press reported on horrendous crimes in graphic detail. Drunkenness, prostitution, disease, unemployment, family breakups, and abandoned children all came to typify the nature of Russian reality in the 1860s. The 2 years before he wrote Crime and Punishment had been bad ones for Dostoevsky. His wife and brother had died. The magazine he and his brother had started, Epoch, collapsed under its load of debt, and he was threatened with debtor's prison. But then at once that he managed to wangle for an unwritten novel, he fled to Wiesbaden, hoping to win enough at the roulette table to get himself out of debt. Instead, he lost all his money. He had to pawn his clothes and beg friends for loans to pay his hotel bills and get back to Russia. One of his begging letters went to a magazine editor asking for an advance on yet another unwritten novel, which he described as Crime and Punishment. One of the supreme masterpieces of world literature, Crime and Punishment catapulted Dostoevsky to the forefront of Russian writers and into the ranks of the world's greatest novelists. Drawing upon experiences from his own prison days, the author recounts in feverish, compelling tones the story of Raskolnikov, an impoverished student tormented by his own nihilism and the struggle between good and evil. Believing that he is above the law and convinced that humanitarian ends justify vile means, he brutally murders an old woman, a pawnbroker whom he regards as stupid, ailing, greedy, good for nothing. Overwhelmed afterwards by feelings of guilt and terror, Raskolnikov confesses to the crime and goes to prison. There, he realizes that happiness and redemption can only be achieved through suffering. Infused with forceful religious, social, and philosophical elements, the novel was an immediate success.